One of the next challenges that anybody who works in bilingual texts can understand. Very rarely do bilingual texts have the same number of words. Greek is more economical, says more in fewer number of words than English. And so you end up with spacing here. This is a small space right here. In certain longer texts, we end up with a much bigger space, as we saw in that page of the Samaritan woman. So here's the issue. Here's the issue. The issue is we've got this gigantic space here. What are we going to do here? Well, I had the thought that we could illustrate it. It's not an easy process and takes a lot of thought. But working with Goce and Vladimir, we came up with a system. So we laid out the entire book, all the pages of the book I laid out, and then started measuring spaces. Here's an example. So we laid out the entire book, and then we went back and we found these substantial spaces in the text. And you can see this has the column width, and then 14 centimeters long, 18.5 centimeters wide, 8 centimeters high from the right-hand column to the base here. This is the area that we want illustrated. This is what we decided. We wanted to illustrate these blank spots. Now, in the if we go to page 43 in the text, you can see the result. This is what we started with. This is what we came up with. But there's more to it than just measuring the space. What are we going to put here? Well, this is the Sunday of the Samaritan woman, so this is pretty straightforward. In this case, we're going to use some kind of iconographic illustration. We went through various illustration styles. We did like pencil point illustrations like you see in the Wall Street Journal, for example. But ultimately, we tried pen on paper. We tried various types of approaches on paper. We knew that we would end up having to scan whatever was drawn to place it on the page. And so after a number of dry runs on styles, and we came up with the pencil. We also even tried vector, drawing these in vector. At that time, we weren't doing vectors of this complexity. Now we do, but we liked the organic look of pencil on paper, and so that's what we came up with. And so I would send this to the artists. This is the space that needs to be drawn. Then we would look at prototypes, different icons or iconic themes that were relevant to what we wanted drawn. And so here's some examples. Samaritan woman icons. We wanted to look at these and come up with something. This is where the artist's genius comes from. I mean, is shown clearly. We have this space. We have this tradition of icons. How are we going to fit those elements within this space? And that's what the artist did. And that's why their work is just so fantastic, because it required a lot of thought and effort. These are all just various prototypes of that icon. Here you go. Here's another one. Then they would draw it in pencil for me and send me a scan, a photograph with their phone, and say, this is